All right, so continuation from the past couple days of solving equations. Now we're going to solve multi-step equations. Okay, so we're just adding a little bit of harder problems every day, kind of stepping stones to where we want you to get to. We want you to be able to solve any type of equation that we would put in front of you. Okay, so first type of multi-step equation, I've got 3x minus 5x. Okay, those are like terms. They both have x's. Okay, so we're going to put them together. So 3x minus 5x, you're basically taking 3 minus 5. So I get negative 2x, okay, plus 11, because that hasn't gone anywhere, equals 21. So then what we have created is one of our two-step easier equations. Okay, so we're going to subtract our 11. So we get negative 2x equals 21 minus 11 is 10. And then divide by negative 2. So you get x equals positive divided by negative, using those rules from last chapter, you get a negative 5. Okay, so just a little bit harder, okay, making them a little bit more complicated as we go. All right, next problem. There are actually two different ways to solve this. Okay, most of you, first thing you see is the distributive property. So you get negative 7y, because negative 7 times y is negative 7y. Now, here's where we have to be careful. If I take negative 7 times a negative 2, that becomes a positive 14. Okay. So then, again, two-step equation, we just got done solving those. So you subtract 14. Negative 7y equals 14. Divide by the negative 7. Y is negative 2. So that's one way. Okay, the second way, I'm going to rewrite the problem for you. So negative 7 times y minus 2 equals 28. When we do negative 7 and we use an operation with the y minus 2, we multiply, right? So if we're thinking inverse operations, we could actually also divide by negative 7. So if I divide by negative 7, those cancel. I'm left with the y minus 2 that was in parentheses equals 28 divided by negative 7 is negative 4. Now that is a one-step equation that we did the other day. So then I add 2 to both sides. I get y is negative 2. Notice what has happened. Both ways you get the same answer. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to decide which way you like the best, okay, and stick with it. Okay, it's easier not to have to go back and forth between the two. Okay, stick with one way, use that way. That makes most sense to you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take solving multi-step equations and we're actually going to apply it to a problem that potentially could happen. So we're talking about a rectangle. Could be the rectangle of a wall that you're painting. Okay, there are lots of different uses for perimeter. Okay, so perimeter of a rectangle is 26. You also know L, which stands for the length of the rectangle, and W is the width. Okay, so if you don't remember, perimeter is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay. So we're going to take all of these pieces of information that we know, and we're going to plug them into this equation. So I'm going to have 26 equals 2 times my length, which is 2x minus 6, plus 2 times my width, which is x plus 3. Now you're going to solve this for x, just like we have been. So I'm going to distribute. So I get 26 equals 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times negative 6 is a minus 12. plus, then we're going to use distributive property here as well. So 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 3 is 6. Then we're going to combine like terms, like we did on the first example. I've got 4x plus 2x, that becomes 6x. And then I've got a minus 12 and a plus 6. So think of that as negative 12 plus 6, which we talked about last chapter. So you get a minus 6. Then it looks like the problems that we've been doing. So we're going to add 6 to both sides. So you get 32 equals 6x. And then we're going to divide by 6. Okay, so 32 divided by 6 is approximately, guys, 5.3. Okay, if you type that into your calculator, you'll get 5.3 repeating. Okay, so let's just go with 5.3. Okay. So we found x. We also have to make sure we find the length and the width of the rectangle. So length, remember, is 2 times x minus 6. So we're going to take our x and plug it in. So you get 2 times 5.3 minus 6. Okay, I would type that into my calculator. Okay, and you get 4.6. Okay. Then our width is x plus 3. So we're going to plug in. So 5.3 plus 3 is 8.3. Okay. It is okay for your length and your width. Like usually we associate length to be longer. Okay, that's not always the case. It just depends on how your picture is labeled or how your rectangle is labeled. Okay, decimals are also an okay answer. Okay, we're in math class, decimals are good. All right, so we're going to do the same thing on the next one. Okay, so I want you to write it down in your paper and I want you to solve it. Again, I'm going to be looking for it tomorrow in class, okay, in your notebooks, because we're going to talk about it.